Hi there boys and girls, and welcome back to the channel. Do have a couple of really good replays for you in this video, but first of all we're going to kick things off with one of my games in a new tank for me. It's not one I've ever driven before, which is the Type 62 light tank at tier 7. I picked it up in the store. I think it was on offer for less than £10, I think. So I picked it up in the store as a premium account for as a premium tank, sorry, for my second account, because I don't have many premium tanks in there. So I thought, if nothing else, it will be a good credit earner on my secondary account. Yeah, some things, as you know, I don't drive light tanks a lot. Now, some things I do quite well in this game, and some things I do actually quite badly. But one of the things that I certainly did know about this tank before I got it is that if used correctly, it is capable of doing quite reasonable damage. It's got, as you'd expect for a light tank, absolutely no armour, but it does have a relatively good gun. It's whacking out 200 alpha and is doing so every few seconds. So if used correctly, you can certainly do good things with this tank. Now I pushed wide onto the flank here. None of our guys wanted to push this flank, but as you know, on this map on Port Bay, the sea cap does get pushed quite often, so I didn't want to leave it uncontested. And as you can see, we have got a number of the red guys spotted. Already taken out one tank. I've got unfortunately an IS and a Panther here, and I'm not really going to be able to hold this flank on my own against these two. It doesn't help that I've just missed a couple of shots there. So the IS down here, he's obviously got a bit fed up of me being a bit of a thorn on this flank, so he's decided to push up on me. So I'm not going to go head to head with an IS. So I've decided to turn around, head round the other flank, which is what you should be doing in a light tank. So I'm going to manage to come up behind this guy and get him cleared. However, it's not looking that great. We've got we are sort of even in tanks here, but the red team tanks are looking an awful lot healthier than the green tanks, unfortunately. Now I know I've got an IS pushing behind me. I know there's a fully healthy Panther out there somewhere as well, so I'm just going to try and do my best to take targets of opportunity and hit from the side and the flanks. Now at this point it's evened up a bit. I mean, the advantage is still with red, but our TD's looking relatively healthy there. IS should be pushing back down the hill now, so we're going to try and get a few shots onto him. We do start getting a few in. I think I miss a few as well. Unfortunately, our last remaining TD there, he really has pretty much lost his hit point pool incredibly quickly, and that's leaving me with only 370 hit points against two enemy tanks that are both very, very healthy and are both much more powerful than this one. So I really don't have a huge amount of options here at this point. My initial plan is obviously to not get head-to-head with the IS. I am potentially thinking about trying to get this Panther cleared if I can, although he is a lot healthier than I am. I've got a much faster firing gun. So my thinking at this point is to try and get this guy cleared as quickly as I can, and that potentially will allow me to outrun the IS and maybe try and get some sniper shots on him. Unfortunately, that's just a bit too much of an ask. I do take a couple of shots here. I'm not certain if I'd have managed to get the clear on the Panther here. Probably should have gone around the other side of the houses there, and I don't get him cleared fast enough before the IS catches up with me and takes me out. So yeah, maybe I didn't play the end there quite as well as I could have done, but still, nonetheless, a very nice little tank to drive. 2400 damage, 2 kills, and yeah, quite a bargain for less than £10. So an excellent tank that I'm going to drive again, I think. So here we are with Frost 136. He's rolling out in on dead rail in the IS 152, and he's heading over to basically one of the better, I think actually probably the best TD spot on this spawn for dead rail. the thing I find interesting about this game, Frost plays a very an excellent game here, without a doubt. The thing I find interesting about this game is that it's not a misconception, but there seems to be, especially at the higher tiers, that meds and lights are there to spot for TDs, which to a certain extent you are. However, if you have a supremacy game like this, meds and lights are probably going to push around one flank, and heavies are going to push around the other, and that effectively means, and this is a good example of it here, that if you're contesting the heavy flank, which is obviously around the A cap here on dead rail, and you've got TDs behind you, then the people doing the spotting for the TDs are in fact the heavies. The meds will be on the other flank, as they should be in a supremacy game, making sure that you don't get farmed across the map. Unfortunately, the heavies in this particular game are not going to play particularly well at all. You had one there sitting back in a TD spot, and that has effectively meant that it interfered with Frost trying to do his job, but also that the enemy heavies are basically having free reign down at A cap, which means they're just pouring in the damage, and the green heavies get taken out actually incredibly quickly. And our friend in the Tiger here, who was in Frost's way earlier, he's effectively going to sit back here for most of the game. He's effectively getting in the way of his own TDs, and he's not helping his own heavies at all. So as a consequence, the heavies are quite badly outmatched down at A cap, and they get taken out very, very quickly. But Frost, however, understands his role, especially in this tank, in this position on this map, perfectly, and as you can see, he is quite content to be up here and just pour in the damage. He's done over, it's just I think, yeah, just over 2,500 damage now. But although it's looking fairly even in tanks at the moment, the greens are going to start disappearing. Frost manages to get a clear on there, so it's not looking so great. And the problem now is, of course, that we've got two surviving green TDs pretty much committed to this flank, and quite soon they're going to start losing their spots because there is nobody to spot for them, and this is going to cause a few problems. Certainly, if you don't have targets as a TD driver in front of you, then relocate and potentially try and get shots on. However, Frost knows they're out there. He just can't see them because there's actually nobody spotting. Because here we go again, and our friend in the Tiger 1 is sitting further back than a TD does, and he's really not helping out at all. So unfortunately, this the tank. The TDs are actually having to almost spot for themselves, which is not an ideal situation. However, Frost is still plugging away at it. He knows he's got a good position here, and he's going to do his very best to just keep pouring in the damage. Unfortunately, it is taking its toll on the rest of his team. It was not great play at all by the heavies on this flank. Now, there are a number of one-shot tanks out there, so potentially the greens can certainly get straight back into this, but unfortunately Frost is pretty much going to have to do it all himself. Now, Santa Meal here does push up far too aggressively and pretty much gets farmed out of the game very, very quickly. So we now see that we have got a number of one-shot tanks on the red team. However, potentially Frost has now got to look to his flank, because his light tank on the flank here is probably not going to be long for this world. So at some point he's going to have to start moving forward and getting into it with these guys. It's now a 4-on-2. The only other remaining tank on Frost's team is the Tiger 1, who to a certain extent has been more of a hindrance than a help. Now Frost is still doing a great job at pouring in the damage here. However, he now has potentially an enemy medium tank on his flank, and he knows that he's got TDs in front of them, albeit they are one shot, so he's got to be careful here. He's got less than half of his own hit points available to him. Now, supremacy isn't really going to be an issue, so thankfully he doesn't have to worry about that. Now, Tiger 1, as I said, has not been a great deal of help at all. He's going to be taken out, leaving Frost with 3 enemy tanks. Thankfully, he's going to get the guy that was coming round on his flank cleared very, very quickly. And he does know that the other 2 guys out here are one-shot tanks. So as long as he plays it carefully, he has a very good chance of clearing out these last 2 guys. Now, Santa Mil pushes forward again. He gets taken out for his pains, meaning that all Frost has now got to do is clear this AT. The AT is a one-shot, and Frost can afford to take a shot from him. So he's going to load up the HE to make absolutely certain when he gets a hit he gets the damage he needs. He does get tracked, however manages to repair it fast enough, clear up the AT there, and win the game from not a lot of help from his heavies, it has to be said, but an actually outstanding game there, and a well-deserved ace mastery. 4,600 damage, 4 tanks. He gets a sniper tanker medal, gets a Kolobanov for clearing out the last 3 guys, and obviously his ace tanker. An outstanding game all round. Well played indeed, young man. Okay, and our last game is another regular contributor, Lewis Ilikoski. He's driving the Jagdpanther at tier 7. Now, those of you who have watched videos on the channel before, you'll know that I recently featured a game with Lewis driving this tank, where he came within 4 hit points of getting his Raz. Unfortunately, the gods of RNG just weren't smiling on him that day. So he's rolling out in this tank again, and he's again going to play an absolutely exceptional game, and he's just going to take this red team apart. So he's pushed up onto the heavy route here on Copperfield. So, whereas Frost was terribly let down by his heavies in that last game, the red heavies are pretty much going to be as bad in this game. These guys are basically just going to keep trading their hit points away. They're going to keep coming out sideways when they know they've got TDs and heavies in front of them, and basically give away their hit points. Frost is and Lewis here is more than happy to oblige them. So he's putting this gun to very, very good work. He's already taken 1 kill, takes his second one there, and he just keeps resetting the engagement, getting into cover, getting his reload on, and trying to stick in more damage. Now, he doesn't quite make the shot through the turret hatch there. Now, one thing that becomes very apparent, and Lewis showing that he is watching the mini-map here, is that the meds and lights on the green team haven't contested the C-clap flank. And that can be absolutely lethal on this map if you allow the enemy meds and lights just to farm damage across the map. Lewis is wise to that, so he's going to disengage from this heavy flank here, and start taking on these meds. If his own meds and lights aren't going to contest this flank, then Lewis is more than happy to do it for them, and he's going to do an absolutely outstanding job of it. He's going to start sticking damage into the P43 Anniversario down there, and this poor guy is just not going to be able to get out of the way or find any cover whatsoever. Lewis has already stuck 2 shots into him, whacks a 3rd into him there, and gets him cleared up for his 4th kill. 2 tanks remaining, and that's it. Lewis is going to get aggressive on this now, gets a lovely shot, and then goes in for the ram to get his 5th kill. And he's not going to let this guy get away, so he's going to roll up on him very aggressively, use this fast firing gun to its best effects, go in for another piece of ram, and get this guy cleared up for his 6th kill. Absolutely brutal destruction of the enemy team there. I think he did that in less than 3 minutes, and he gets another well-earned ace mastery. 4,200, just under 4,300 damage with 6 kills there. Absolutely outstanding play, and I hope goes in some way to make up for the fact that he only just missed out on his Raz a few days ago. Gets a Pools medal, gets the Ace Mastery, just an outstanding game all round. So I'd like to thank Frost136 and Lewis Ilikoski for sending in their replays. Thank you all very much for watching and supporting the channel, and as always, good hunting and bye for now.